WCB Podcast, your source for all things Chicago Blackhawks and everything hockey. With your host, Jarom and Tanner. Let's do it. Jarom and Tanner.
All right, so fuck that up. All right, so another WCB Podcast. It's Jarom, it's Tanner. What's up, bud?
No.
What? You got something to talk? Is there something for us to talk about today?
Just it's a day. It is a day. We knew this day was coming. But man, today's just shit.
Well, if you've been living under a rock, Patrick Kane has been traded. This has essentially been talked about, I think, since we recorded last. I think that was like when the framework was really starting. And then it really built up like Thursday, Friday. And then it sounded like Saturday it was happening.
Yeah.
And he's second.
Well, yeah. And then it was held off for maximum cap reasons.
And
it's just
earlier
and then
today,
it's just kind of like, when is the Band-Aid gonna get fucking ripped off?
and literally, as I was walking into the studio to record, the alert comes through. The Blackhawks have traded Patrick Kane to the Arizona Coyotes, who then traded him to the New York Rangers.
Good on the Coyotes to hold to keep their word.
That's hilarious. If you follow us on Twitter, I did a screenshot of it. Cap Friendly didn't fully update the whole trade. So at one point it looked like Arizona got Patrick Kane and a third round pick from the Rangers and the Rangers got, what was it, Zeke?
Yeah, Cooper Zach.
So yeah, I mean, we got some hockey to talk about, but as I pointed out to Tanner, I feel like these games are irrelevant to even talk about now because the franchise officially changed and
yeah,
all sights are now set on the draft lottery.
Yeah, I mean, that's the main thing, and it's kind of like, well, like tonight before this goes live, I mean, they got Arizona, and that's a team that we want to battle for last. Since we last recorded, they played Dallas, and that was Kaner's last game.
Yeah. So how did he
a comeback win in Dallas, down 3-0, and I think he had 3 points, him and
2 goals,
Max Domi.
And his assist to Domi's goal, if I remember correctly, was like one of those moments where you're just like, oh no, just stay. Both of you don't go anywhere. Let's keep this going. Let's run it back.
Yeah, the two of them were just on such a heater together. Yeah. So that happened.
It's
that
crazy.
Was,
that's the
like,
you don't even think about that.
Who would have known that was going to be it? That sucks.
Kaner's last goal in the United Center was disallowed.
The greatest goal to not count was Kaner's last. Yeah, man, fuck. And then he tried to do it again in the shootout. Holy shit. Yeah, this sucks.
Yeah, so then after that game, Kaner's officially out of the lineup.
Yeah, but didn't know until Saturday when there's all the rumblings of like the trade is basically done. They come out and say that Kaner went back home rather than being with them on the road trip to kind of like collect his thoughts. So what it really seemed like was the trade was in place. They were still just waiting for him to give the green light. And then there's also like the whole cap like finagling that they needed to do. But that ended up allowing the hometown kid, David Gust, who I think he signed his contract on like Thursday.
Signed on Friday. Thursday.
And met them in California. And the plan was to have him play Monday against Anaheim, which guess what? You're playing Saturday instead.
Yeah, which is hilarious too. I don't know who I'm more excited for, Dave Gus, who, if you're a local, like an Orland Park native and all that, you know, his family owns Arctic Ice Arena. I mean, he is a huge part of Orland Park hockey. But I don't know who I was more happy for, Dave Gus or our buddy Winks, who is one of Dave Gus's best friend, and he's been pitching all season on his Instagram, sending notes as Dave Gus just absolutely kills it in Rockford. saying, "Hey, Kyle Davidson, please sign him. Thanks," and like tagging the Blackhawks and stuff all season. And then finally gets signed. He screenshots one of his past posts and was like, "They read my email. Thanks, guys." And then
that's so good. I just love it. Was such a cool moment too. And it's just like, all right, you're playing for the Hawks. I'm sure you're a longtime Hawks fan. You get to play without Patrick Kane. Like you play for like this historic franchise that had so much success. Your first game is the very first game they said since April 4th, 2004 that did not contain Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith, Jonathan Toews, or Patrick Kane.
That's 19 years. That is so insane to me to think about it that way.
Yeah.
Like what?
It's crazy. So of course he's like, "Oh, I'll take over," and he scores on his first shot. Yeah. How cool is that?
It's a cool story too for him. Like he was ready to retire after he won the Calder Cup with the Wolves last season.
What's the Wolves or the Ice Hogs?
Wolves. He signed with the Ice Hogs. Yeah, then he signed.
Somebody was like, I saw somewhere too. They were like, yeah, or he said it or something. He's like, yeah, or he said when I won the Calder Cup last year. But I saw like places where they're like, yeah, when he won it with Rockford. I was like, I don't think they won it last year.
Like,
the hell?
He won it with the Wolves. He was gonna retire, but then he was like, you know what? Let's run it back. Rockford offered him. They
let's go to Rock Vegas.
Yeah, went there. He's been killing it. I think it was like 50 points in 51 games in Rockford this year. We kind of said too, we were joking, like me, Noli, and all were talking about, like we said that probably this is the best case scenario for him. Like around trade deadline, he might get the contract and signed up. They signed him for 2 years. Makes his debut, 29 years old, NHL debuted for the Blackhawks. Like, Noli said the best. He's living our fucking dream.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Like, how cool is that? And then he scores on his first shot.
Of course.
In his first game.
And his first shift, like, let's go. That's awesome. Like,
it was a great assist by Blackwell too. It was just like out of the corner. He's just posted up right in front of the net. All he has to do is just tap that bad boy in. It was really cool. And then I think I sent you a stat, and I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I think he joins Eddie Olczyk as like the only Chicago native to score the first goal in Chicago.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've also been kind of sick this weekend, so my throat's a little weird.
Dave Gus became the second Illinois-born player to score in his NHL debut, with Blackhawks legend joining Eddie Olczyk.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
That is good for him. Good for Gus.
Especially since that happened almost 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And I mean, the only other person I know that came close to scoring in their debut was Scott Darling. I don't know.
But yeah,
just kidding.
They won that game 4-3 in the shootout.
Brett Steeney also scored his first goal this season too. So it was like two guys getting their first goals. It's not his first NHL goal, but his first goal on the Hawks.
Also been tearing it up this
season. And then of course Max Domi also scores, and he just continues his tear. Damn, man.
That made it 5 wins. 5 wins in a row for the Hawks. So no Patrick Kane. The reports were coming out with what the trade package was going to be. It didn't involve any players of note or a first round draft pick. The Hawks have won 5 games in a row. What the fuck was going on there? Come Monday, trip to Anaheim, and things set back in motion where the Ducks beat the Blackhawks 4-2. It started off with a Tyler Johnson power play goal, and I'm just like, what the fuck? He's probably like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. Let's score some goals.
Domi on the assist as well.
Yeah,
just continuing. Yeah, like I thought that was just because he was with Kane and they were just tearing up together, and Domi just continues to put up points. I think that was his 50th point.
How bad is this power play going to be now without Kane?
Oh, he's just under 50 points now. I don't know. I mean, they scored a power play goal.
2.
They scored 2. Yeah, they scored more power play goals against Anaheim than they did like the previous 10 games.
Oh man! So
the funny thing is, like, you can say like, yeah, it's against Anaheim, but Anaheim's actually been stealing some games lately because John Gibson was tearing. Oh, you know what? Dostal was in that. That's why.
Yeah, there was at one point that everybody in the Pacific Division was on a losing streak except for the Ducks.
That's kind of funny.
I saw a tweet about that, and someone was like, Anaheim Mighty Ducks GM right now, just where we want them.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the other
Let's-
day I saw that John Gibson had like a 53 save, not shutout, but got a win where they won like by like 3-2 or something
that
like
was like
that.
a day.
And
That
they
was like
only
a
had
day
like
after.
17 shots on net and they won.
And that was like a day after Craig Anderson had like a 50-something save win
Yeah,
against, was it Florida or Tampa?
probably.
Jesus. God, man. Unreal. And then tonight the Hawks will take on
Arizona.
Arizona.
The Patrick Kane Arizona Coyotes.
So that another game, big game against a team that you need to lose to for draft lottery position. And you know what? I just thought about this when this is posted. It's March 1st, so we need to do player and team of the month as well. Totally forgot
shit.
about that. So throw that out there.
Oh yeah, well, give me a minute to look it up.
Oh no, yeah, take your time because I'm gonna pull up. Because I was thinking about pulling up the Hawks stats for February as a whole, and I was just like, oh shit.
Well, yeah. What would you say for like 3 stars of the week? Domi,
Gus,
like
yeah, Dave
yeah,
Gus,
Gus.
Max Domi, and Patrick Kane.
Yeah, I guess that'd be good.
Franchise.
Wait, did the Kaner went out on the game winner? Did he assist on that Domi goal against Dallas?
Yeah, or one of them, not the second Domi goal, his first one.
Oh, he didn't get the game winner assist.
So going into tonight's game, the Hawks have played 11 games in February. They are 6-4-1 this month. So 500 hockey in a month against, and you played all teams that could potentially jump you in the draft lottery. Not great.
Yep, they've been doing pretty well. Like I said last pod, since January 1st. So it's crazy.
29 goals for, 37 against. Power play percentages at 12.1, PK percentage 82.1. And they're averaging 30.8 shots per game and have a face-off percentage of 48.8. So one more game to add to that total, but yeah, at this point now you gotta kind of. They're still kind of playing the exact same hockey since January 1st, 13-10-1.
I mean, they've been looking good. There's been a lot of like really good puck movement, especially in the last like week or so. A lot of surprising like progress that I've noticed out of the guys, which is why led to a lot of the wins that they've gotten, and they've still been getting like pretty solid goaltending. But yeah, it's been good stuff for a while.
It has been an interesting. It's been such a weird season for the Hawks, and like I don't even just mean that because of like all the trades and all that kind of stuff too. It's just what is this team? Like there's times where it's like they're the worst team in the league, like god awful. Why are we putting ourselves through this? And then there's times where it's like, where the fuck was this when we had all the pieces and could have made a difference in the standings?
Yeah, I mean, November versus like January and February are like two completely different teams on paper.
It's insane.
Or not on paper, just on the score sheet. It's weird. I think part of it too could just be the fact that like Luke Richardson has like had the more than half a season at this point to kind of like really put this team to like gel well together. And the other, I guess not having Jonathan Toews out there, not having Patrick Kane, it's kind of like who you're looking to next. Like I think Max Domi's probably like the guy, and like he's played for Luke Richardson, and he really likes him as a coach, and I'm sure he likes him as a player, and they probably gel really well, and everybody would probably be listening to him.
Who would have thought coming into the season that the rest of the way the face of the franchise is going to be Max Domi?
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't mind it. I think it's actually pretty good. I think that he's a better face of the franchise than like Seth Jones, actually.
Oh,
And
100%.
it's just because Seth Jones is just like, he just seems like a very quiet, reserved kind of person that like doesn't, I don't know, just he doesn't, his game isn't like anything great. I like I like the way Max Domi plays just because it's like you always know when he's on the ice. He's either doing something exciting offensively or he's doing something, even if it's stupid, at least you're like, oh yeah, they don't fuck with that guy.
I was wondering this too the other day. It's like, do we like Max Domi so much because of his dad? Like, I love Ty Domi and
Oh
everything he does
yeah.
on the ice. And so it's like, do we just like give Max a little bit of a pass because of that? Or is it like genuinely like, oh no, we like his style?
I like his style. I mean, he's got so much more like offensive capabilities than his dad did. And it's it's cool. I don't know. I just like him as a player.
He's not the fighter his dad was, that's for sure.
Yeah. I also like the fact that a lot of other teams don't like him, which is like, yes, this is the kind of guys that I like.
He's Brad Marchand. Like, you hate him when he's not on your team. But if
Yeah.
he was on your team, you probably like him. Although I still fucking would hate Marchand on the Blackhawks. I'm sorry, I will die by that. But
I don't like the little dumb shit that Marchand does that you're just like, what the fuck?
at least when
Like,
Matt Domi does something stupid, it's like I just saw red. Sorry, guys.
yeah, he loses it. He doesn't do something like lick
Connor,
somebody. Like, what
Connor
the fuck?
Murphy, yeah, Connor Murphy can vouch for that.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
But yeah, so looking ahead really quick, not really quick because I just closed out that tab on accident. But the Hawks, so like I said, they play tonight against Arizona. Next time they play Thursday against Dallas.
Yep.
So that's gonna be weird.
Saturday against Nashville.
I'm gonna be at that game, so that's gonna be very weird. That first home game without Kane,
Yeah.
like, actually on the line in the team.
On the team. Yeah, yeah. I've been to a game
Saturday,
where he's been out.
Saturday against Nashville. Monday, the return of DeBrincat.
To
Ottawa
a team that he
Senators.
barely recognizes.
Yeah, he's gonna like, is it really returned if you don't really know the team.
Who's left? Like Kershev, Seth Jones, Connor Murphy.
Yeah,
I mean
Ty Johnson.
Johnson, yeah, Tyler Johnson, Jujar Kara.
Yeah, that's weird.
God damn, dude, that's yeah.
And then Wednesday, a week from tomorrow, they will face off against Detroit in Detroit. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. We're down to the last month and a half of the season, which is insane to me how fast this year has gone.
Yeah,
I thought this was
it
gonna be
it,
a
it, it
long
really has
season.
been such a quick year. God, and now I don't know. Is it gonna feel as fast? Because what happens? What do we do? What are we watching?
Well, I guess we can talk. Let's move into the trade talk here a little bit because there's enough to talk about. Um, Before all this went down, there was a minor trade on Sunday. Jack Johnson got dealt back to the Colorado Avalanche in return for Andreas, was it
England.
England?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Who
you know,
played
good.
who played in his first game against Anaheim? Did okay,
Yeah, I mean,
I
great,
guess.
great for Jack Johnson. Like, kind of saying, like, he kind of quietly played his role really well here. He 8 minutes. He played defensive hockey, and now he's going back to the Colorado Avalanche, who are healthy. They're getting healthy.
Yep.
They're making their way. Like, honestly, with all the moves that we'll talk about in NHL talk, they have to be the favorite to come out of the West again. They have to be.
Yeah, now that they're getting healthy and everything too.
And
I yeah, I mean the thing that I liked Jack Johnson was just it seemed like every player on the team really liked him and respected him. Um, kind of like I would say like a Brent Seabrook type player, where just defensive does his job. I mean, the team wasn't really good all around him, so he was a -25, but everybody on the team besides Jake McCabe was a minus.
yeah. And speaking of Jake McCabe, yesterday Blackhawks made another trade with the Toronto Maple Leafs, sending Jake McCabe, where they retain 50% of his salary, so a $2 million cap hit going to Toronto. Sam Lafferty, a 2024 fifth-round pick conditional, and a 2025 fifth-round pick conditional. Condition of those, the fifth-round pick transfer to the Toronto will be the lowest of the 2024 fifth-round picks that the Blackhawks own at the time of the draft. So again, lowest, does that mean towards the top number 1, or does it mean towards number 32? Again, you talked about this last week, and now that you said that, I just keep looking at it, and it kind of drives me insane.
I'm assuming when they say lowest, they mean numerically in the draft, so not lowest value pick.
So, are you saying closest to 32 or closest to 1?
Closest to 1. I wish they would just say better, the better pick of the fifth round, because it's like obviously the better one is the one that's sooner. There was the couple of trades that you glossed over before
for the Hawks
Johnson trade. Yeah.
Did we already talk?
Oh no, did we talk about Zaitsev?
Yeah, we talked about that. Was like because that broke right as we started recording.
Oh, okay. But then there was the one for Josiah Slavin and Hunter Giroux, which is just
awesome.
a minor league one. We forgot about it.
It's like I forgot, like fucking Max Domi or something just got dealt or something.
My bad. I don't know. I couldn't remember.
They coming back from the Hawks to the Hawks from Toronto is Joey Anderson, Pavel Gogolev. Not bad. A 2025 first round pick, which is top 10 protected, and a 2026 second round pick. So the Hawks gained $2.4 million in cap space. Toronto lost $2.4 million cap space. We'll get it on to Toronto in a second here, but great fucking pickups for Toronto with this. And like I said, NHL Talk talking about the deals Dubas has been making. Holy shit.
I mean, this definitely helps them in the future too, because Jake McCabe has 2 years left.
It doesn't. Lafferty still has another year too.
Oh, probably.
I think he has got. Yeah, he's
got one more. Yeah, in just about this trade before the Anaheim game, they actually had Kyle Davidson on TV discussing this trade a little bit and just like the trade deadline in general. And they asked like, hey, like Sam Lafferty was the first acquisition that you made as interim GM, like, and now that you've moved him, like, well, how's it feel? He's like, I mean, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good to trade players at all.
Yeah.
Like, you're changing somebody's life, like you're affecting their family. But you're also trying to do like what's best for them at certain, like for certain players, right? Like
you're changing their lives for the good too, potentially, because you're sending these guys who were gonna just waste away in Chicago, not do anything this year, and now they have a shot to lose in the first round of the playoffs next year or this upcoming season.
And I don't know if you know this, but Jake McCabe's never made it to the playoffs.
Exactly. So that was another thing, like I was gonna say too, because McCabe had that whole rant about how he's tired of losing. He has never been close to playing playoff hockey, and it's frustrating. And now I think he is going to play a big role on that defensive. Going through the playoffs.
When you're the only plus player on a very negative team, you're doing something right defensively, and that's going to really help them out for sure. And then the other thing that Kyle Davidson went into mention was the fact that like they got a 2025 first rounder and not something sooner. And he was, I don't know if it was just kind of like, trying to not sound like an idiot, but he was like, like it, as nice as it is to have all picks in one round, it's great to like spread out the wealth that you're gaining, because who knows, like by 2025, like if the guys that they have currently in the system that they drafted last year, that they're going to be drafting this year, like if those guys are looking good and looking like they're going to be ready sooner than later, you can end up turning these first round picks that we have into other assets that are going to just be complementary towards like making this team better faster. So like getting as much as like getting a first rounder in 2023 for this trade would be nice. It doesn't mean that we can't still with all the draft picks that we're gaining. Like you saw last year, you get Peter Mrazek and a first for a second rounder. Like that was pretty good. Peter Mrazek's played very well, I think.
Let's just say this now. This team isn't competing next year either.
Oh,
if
absolutely
we get
not.
Bedard, if we get Fantilli, if we drop the Russian, especially if we draft the Russian, this team is not going
to
Mishkov. We're not competing next year. We're still going to need probably 2 years away from competitive hockey again. But now, like what you're saying though, too, is like you have Bedard. Now you're looking like, okay, well, that first round pick in 2025, we can use to speed this up a little bit and let's go. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. And I'm looking at their right now. We have 2 second round or 2 first rounds this year, 4, potentially 3, but right now it's 2, 4, 2, 1, 1, none, 1. I mean, that's a lot of fucking draft picks alone. Yeah. I will be shocked if we use all 6 of those first 2 round picks, if we don't use it to leverage something else.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, like, what was it? The second rounder from the Rangers can move up, can't it?
Right, yeah, that's the one that can move up if they reach the conference finals. Yeah, let's get into that then real quick here.
Since we're talking about trades anyway.
Yeah, so the big trade was the Blackhawks sent Patrick Kane to Arizona. We retained 50% of that contract. Arizona then retained 50% of the rest of that contract, sending him to New York Rangers. Rangers take on a $2.625 million cap hit. Rangers also get Cooper Zek from us, and then they send their 3rd round pick in the 2025 draft to the Arizona Coyotes as a thank you for helping us get under the cap.
Yeah.
So the condition on the second round pick for that is it becomes a first round pick this year if the Rangers make to the conference finals.
Which I mean, could happen. They made it last year.
But as we're going to talk about NHL Talk, like the East, holy fuck. The East is fucking, they're gearing up for war. Like,
yeah, it's like they're gearing up for war while the West is basically gearing up for like a water balloon fight. Like it's fucking hilarious.
Oh my God. Poach just sent this to us in our group chat. The Blackhawks lines and warm-ups versus the Coyotes. Kurashev, Domi, Anthony Seau, Tyler Johnson, Gutman, Radish, Boris, Dickinson, Gust, Kara, and Anderson. Caleb Jones, Seth Jones, Sonority, Murphy, England, Mitchell, and Phillips. We're going with the 11 forward, 7D setup here. Yikes. Holy shit.
That's a team. That's a team.
Oh, God. This is going to be a rough go the last like 20-something games of the year.
Man, when Jonathan Toews was upset about the team not playing well before, if he comes back before the end of the season, he is going to be...
If I'm him and I decide... If I'm him and I decide that this is my last season, I'm playing the last game at the United Center of the season, I'm out. See ya, guys. That's the only one I'm playing. That's all I'm doing.
Yeah.
So
damn.
So I mean, I wrote down here like basically. No, before we get into that, let's talk about Kane a little bit, because let's face it. As of this moment, this franchise has changed. A legacy has come to an end. An era has come to an end. Like, what? We all know what Patrick Kane meant to Chicago. We all know what he meant to this franchise, but it's like, how do you even like really like put into words at how much this team's going to miss him? And it's like, you can talk about the potential of him signing next year. We can get into that too in a second.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Just don't want to interject, is that I don't have this feeling of like, it's over. I have this feeling still of like, it's still to be continued. Until he signs a contract in the offseason, I don't think it's over.
So until he puts pen to ink
on another team, I'm not convinced that he's not coming back. So, and it's mainly because, like, sorry, because I interrupted you. So what were you saying?
No, go ahead, because I was kind of just trying to lead to those whole conversation in general.
Yeah. So it's in my mind, like Patrick Kane, I don't see him being able to like sign with many of these top teams. A lot of these teams are still like cap strapped. Like, and the ones that might have a little bit of wiggle room are not going to be like contenders. So it's really like you can either sign for someone that has the cap space like Chicago, a place that you've lived for the last like 16, 17 years, or you sign like a really not good deal for like a team that's gonna contend. But like I don't know, like the teams that are contending are probably gonna be putting money towards like their young players of the future, that those are gonna be the first few things that they're gonna do. But I don't know, I just don't see it.
Unless, I mean, I can see Patrick Kane's. I mean, you got to think about it. Just given what he made available to Kyle Davidson in order to like make a move, you have to think it's New York area teams.
Yeah.
It's Toronto.
He never said that he actually
No, but
wanted to go to Toronto
I'm talking about,
too.
so like talking about the
And
general.
Toronto wouldn't be able to afford a fucking thing.
I know. And I'm just saying,
Oh
like,
yeah. Sorry.
talking about the general geographic location of
Yeah.
what
Oh, just of
offering.
like what he would be doing.
This is
Yes.
what you were doing. And I can see him signing less for the Rangers to play with Panarin, especially if they get super close to a cup this year. If they somehow get to the conference finals again, they may get through the juggernaut that is the Eastern Conference, and they can get to it. I can see him taking a lesser deal to continue to play in New York with Panarin, close to home in Buffalo. That wouldn't surprise me. I can see him signing in Buffalo if he really, really wants to try to like have a prove it moment. Like if he could go to Buffalo and win there, I don't think there's any denying it how amazing of a player Patrick Kane is then at that point. That's like him going and and just taking a team that just has never been able to do it and take him to the promised lands. But then you're also, like you said, it's Chicago. Chances are his family isn't leaving Chicago. They're gonna have their place still here. They'll probably travel with them for a little bit towards the end of the year, like for the end of the year. But you can't imagine that he's gonna uplift his family for 3 months of hockey. Like they're probably gonna stay here, so there is an option for him to still be here. I think now the question though comes down to is Kyle Davidson gonna want him back?
I don't see how you wouldn't want Patrick Kane on a team as a leader to develop or to just show the young prospects like how it's done. Like guys that have been literally probably guys that are coming into the league that were looking up to Patrick Kane when they were younger. Like I think that I mean the face of the franchise, the leadership, just I mean outside of hockey, the marketing that Patrick Kane brings to like the Hawks, like he's one of the probably highest selling jerseys, or he probably has the highest in like jersey sales, like for his whole career.
Also,
the other thing that kind of scares me, actually, that I'm looking at it, is Buffalo does have actually a good amount of cap space coming up next year.
they do, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if Buffalo can somehow find a like we said last week, we said it last week, and then all of a sudden you start seeing a little bit, they're kicking the tire on Gibson,
which they should.
So
they should absolutely do that.
If they come in and they bring in a legit goalie,
but like I can see like if Patrick Kane wanted to sign like a 1-year deal in Buffalo, that would probably work out perfectly for them. God damn it. Yeah, because they have like they're really good guys that are on their entry level contracts are pretty much still on those for next year. And then it's like, okay, now we have to like dish out some dough. And then the guys that like have extended already are on really good extensions that like leave the door wide open for some pretty good like off-season signings.
It's just it's weird to try to figure out where he would potentially go, because it's like I also never expected to be in this situation. Like,
right. I thought he was going to die a Blackhawk.
yeah, him not being in a Hawks jersey is like the weirdest fucking idea. And like just seeing NHL 23 posted like, oh, first look at Kane in the Rangers jersey, and it's so fucking bizarre. Like,
I do. I can't wait for that roster
oh,
update
dude,
though. I want to play as that team so bad.
do I want a Kane Rangers jersey now? Of course I do.
The Hawks have projected right now $41 million in cap space for next year.
Jesus.
Give Kane a 1-year, $20 million contract.
Isn't the max only like 15 or something?
Who cares?
What's the floor?
The floor? The floor is lava.
So as of right now, the cap floor is 61 million.
Okay, so we'll definitely need a lot.
So it's like, hey, you good? Kane here, blank check, 3-year deal. What do you want?
Yeah, honestly, if we can get him on a 3-year deal, I think that's good. And if he's still got gas in the tank after that, just 1-year deals until he decides to hang him up or gets the franchise record.
And that's what I was just about to bring up. I'm like, here's technically what he's chasing. So if his career with the Blackhawks is officially over and he doesn't sign with the Hawks this summer, here's where he stands in the 3 major categories, offensive categories. Goals, he is 3rd all time with 446. Assists, 2nd all time with 779. Points, 2nd all time with 1,225.
And that's just Blackhawks.
And that's just Blackhawks. So do you think that eats at him a little bit, or do you think he's just so not thinking about that at this point, or in general?
I mean, I'm sure he would love to like be the all-time leader in points. Just to have that as well. Just to be so successful and also just be like on paper the best, even though we know he's like clearly the best that we've ever had. I think how far away is he from first? He's super close to best American of all time too. And when I say super close, he's like within 200 points, which 3 years.
Madonna or Bobby Hall or Brett Hall?
It's Brett Hall in points.
So
on paper,
yes,
Patrick Kane.
I've seen 3 or 2 different lists. One with Madonna was number 1, and one with Brett Hall as number 1.
It depends on if you count Brett Hall as an American or a Canadian.
So do you count Brett Hall as an American?
I don't really care.
You play for Team
USA. He's American on this list, so yeah, go for it. Play for Team USA, sure. Right, like once he gets that, it's like clearly, no doubt, he's best American-born player of all time. But it would be great if he was the best American-born player of all time and the best Blackhawk of all time, stats-wise.
I'm convinced too, if he doesn't come back to Chicago to try to pass Mikita, I don't think we see that happen in our lifetime.
Connor Bedard. You forgot.
Man, still, I don't know. We'll see. But all right, I mean, now what? So now what does this mean for the Hawks? All in on the Bedard train?
Yeah, I mean, where else do you go but down? Watch them. I mean, they have had such a good record when Kane's not in the lineup.
It's fucking weird, man. How good they play without.
Do they make any more moves? Like,
I think unless
do you think Domi's still like possibly being moved? Because I would like for him to just get an extension, but also I could see him being traded and coming back.
I think with Domi, it's going to come down to how desperate other playoff teams are, because a lot of the big names have flown off the board today.
Yeah.
In the past couple days. So if there's
it's weird too, because like the Western Conference teams haven't done anything. They really haven't. And I feel like maybe somebody could use like a Max Domi. Like Winnipeg. Like I'm sure you could use that.
But do the Western Conference teams kind of are playing it smart, letting the East take everybody up, move all their fucking assets? I don't know. I don't know if you kind of look at it playing checks versus chess or chess
Checkers.
versus checkers
Yeah.
kind of situation with that. But I mean, Minnesota's making moves.
Yeah, they picked up a guy that's on LTIR. And they've retained salary as the third team in other trades. Like,
don't know how they I don't get it. We're talking about they're in cap hell, and they're somehow saying, "Hey, we'll take your cap. Let's go. We'll take."
I mean, they haven't had to make any changes because no Western Conference teams are making any changes. Like, the Eastern Conference is going ham because all of them want to like win, and it's like, well, we're so invested in this season, like we better invest more. And the West is like, oh, yeah, you guys go ahead and do that. Like, we'll take our chances with what we got.
Randomly think about it because I was looking at the retained salary thing here. According to Cap Friendly, you can retain 3 salaries per year. We
Yeah.
originally thought it was 2, so that's an edit there.
That's because NHL fucking lies in the
Lies
video
to us.
game.
Yeah. So the Hawks retain Patrick Kane's salary for this year, the McCabe for the next, well, technically a year and a quarter. I don't know, however you want to consider how much left.
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. Yeah. But yeah, no, really quick looking at the lineup. I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been like chatter about Jason Dickinson a little bit. I kind of felt like he would have been with the Lafferty territory with that like depth forward ad, but he also has a little bit more of a cap hit, about $1 million more than Lafferty, and that's not the type of guy you retain salary on at all.
Yeah, he might be on the move next year.
Maybe not sure. Yeah. When it comes down to forwards, I think Max Domi might be the only one that potentially could go if somebody calls and asks. Defense, I think our defensemen are pretty much set here. What's going on with Zaitsev? Is it like visa issues or what?
I don't know. He hasn't really played much this year. In Ottawa, I don't know what the deal is with him.
So yeah, I think
just like not rostered for some reason. Yeah, it's weird right now because the forward group only makes 21 million, and like that's what Taves and Kane made together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was before the Toronto, or not Toronto, sorry. Yeah. No. Yes, Toronto trade. Jesus Christ. Just like having a stroke. I was like calculating the Hawks like team salary when they didn't have Lafferty in the lineup and no Kane on Saturday. I was like, wow, this forward lineup makes less than 20 million. Like it's kind of weird.
That's weird seeing the highest paid player is Seth Jones.
Tyler Johnson. Oh, on the forward group Seth Jones. And like Seth Jones has the longest contract.
Yeah.
If Kyle Davidson can trade Seth Jones somewhere and we can like honestly, if we move Connor Murphy and we really have no long-term contracts, that would probably be like the best. But
I would attach one of those first round picks in like 24 or 25 Seth Jones to get him out.
At this point, it doesn't really matter. Like we need to
at this point, but
reach the cap. We need to reach the cap floor anyway, and he's not like a huge game changer. We're kind of just stuck with that contract. Oh, I forgot. I mentioned this in our group chat, but since we're talking about the Seth Jones, since the trade that we had, and we lost our first last season, was it kind of smart on Bowman to not top 10 protect that trade? Because if it was top 10 protected, we would have been giving Columbus this year's first rounder.
And I stick with my original statement in the text that I don't think Bowman was thinking that far ahead. I think he just assumed it wasn't going to be a top 2 pick because if you remember when he added Seth Jones, Marc-Andre Fleury, Tyler Johnson, he's like, this is a playoff team. This is a team that can compete and we can get back to glory and all this kind of stuff. So I don't even think
Marc-Andre Fleury.
I don't even think that was on his mind.
It was probably the greatest accident in the conditional that he had added because man, good thing we gave up that instead of like what could potentially be like first overall this year. That would have been like was it Ottawa? Yeah. Ottawa top 10 protecting a pick and then ended up giving up the pick that became Cale Makar.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Woof.
Imagine if it was top 10 protected and then
But
we lost it this year. We lost it this year, and then Bowman is just watching us win the draft lottery, knowing that he fucked us again.
Yeah. Yeah, that they did keep the pick for Brady Tkachuk though, so it turned out pretty well for them anyway.
Speaking of Bowman, him and Quinville are supposedly doing the classes to get reinstated.
Yeah, they're taking like diversity and respect classes or something.
Good for Q. Bowman should never be allowed back. Unforgivable what he did. Fuck that guy. Fuck Steve.
Yeah, man. It's a bunch of shit.
All right.
Do you have
anything else you want to touch on for Hawks?
I don't know. I hope it's over. Like, I feel like it's just been so not like underwhelming, but just whelming. Like, it's not like anything spectacular. And the whole Patrick Kane thing, when you'll get like the common fan that's not like looking too hard into it, just being like, how the hell did we only get a second and a fourth and
Dude,
whatever, guys. It's because Kane gave one team as the option. It was known to everyone that the Rangers were the only team he would go to. So do you just not get anything? And I think that's when it comes down to like, I'd rather have something than nothing, right? Like, give him the chance to play out the rest of the season on the contender, get something in return, even if it's not a first. And it's like, it sucks because like at the beginning of the year, it's like, man, we can get so much for Patrick Kane. It's like, it's just, when is he going to waive his no move? It's like, oh, well, we never really took into account the fact that he would give one team as the listed teams. And I saw like people saying like, well, Claude Giroux got a prospect and a first and like a third. It's like, well, Claude Giroux also like left the mystery of like who the teams were that he would waive for, even though it only was Florida. No one really knew it was only Florida.
I thought there was another team out there too, though.
Colorado.
Yeah, and they couldn't do it.
But apparently that was never the case. But they just didn't make it well known that one team was the only team, because then you could ask for more. We can't ask for more from the Rangers if they know they're the only team in contention for Patrick Kane.
Yeah, man.
We're getting pretty fucking handcuffed on a lot of these trades for our good players. And like, I mean, in a perfect world, we could have gotten way more for DeBrincat and Kane and maybe Kirby Dach, even though I think that was really good value.
I think Kirby Dach, we got way better value than I was expecting, honestly.
But in reality, with the situations the way they were laid out, we got a return, and it's not as underwhelming when you look at it, but emotionally it's very underwhelming.
Let me ask this then really quick, because you talk about get something for him.
Yeah.
You're confident though that he was going to sign an extension with Chicago, or to come back to Chicago?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be worth just keeping him and having that as only player for the Blackhawk legacy part of it? Like,
I mean,
that's like,
we put a lot of weight into like being only on one team, right, when in reality that's not like good business for the franchise, right? Like, getting the assets and acquiring more draft picks is what makes the franchise better, rather than like Patrick Kane was a Blackhawk for life. Like, that doesn't make the franchise better.
I guess what I'm trying to say though, it's like, I think at that point, if you were so confident that he was going to sign with the Blackhawks, then you could have just put the foot down and be like, hey, you're the one team that he's willing to go to.
Yeah.
This is our price. We have no problem not trading him. We have no problem keeping him here. You match it, you make him happy. We make him happy, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they could have just been like, you see what the East is willing to throw down on, and like, you really want Patrick Kane to put you over the edge and really get you there, like, maybe you should pay up a little bit more.
And that's where I'm a little disappointed with the return too. Like, I understand why the return is what it is,
Yeah.
But I think KD had a little bit more power than he used, and he had a little bit more leverage that he could have used. And you said it's exactly, hey, you have already invested a lot to go all in this year with picking up Tarasenko and all that. You might as well finish the job, go all the way, grab Patrick and do this. But he did, and you know what? Good for Katie. I appreciate him being looking out for the players, and he did right by Patrick, and he sent him where he wanted to go at whatever cost it was.
Yeah.
I just wish there was maybe there was. I don't know. Like I said, we don't know. We don't hear those conversations unless they do one of those like videos where they're like, oh, inside the war room and all that kind of stuff. It's like maybe he did push back a little bit, but it's like I wish there was a little bit more fight, because I think he had more leverage in the situation than people truly believed, given the situation. You hear the one team only, okay, well, fuck, there goes the Hawks are screwed. But it's like, yeah, no, man, the East, you're fucked. You don't make a move. You don't go all in. If you think this is your year, this is the piece that's going to put you over there. You got to give us what we want, type of thing.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, we'll see how it all ends up working out over the next few years, really, because like what happens with those picks, what happens with everything, like we won't know. Where does Kane go in the offseason? Like, was it worth it? Is he come back? Did we just get a second and a fourth for basically not having Kane for a couple months? And like, did it help us reach the bottom of the league and get first overall? Like, this is, I wish I knew like what was going on in Kyle Davidson's head, where he's like, okay, like this is gonna fit into like the plan that I have right now. Like this is good enough that I can either I have my eye on somebody in that's projected to go a certain spot in this draft that like this will help me get them, or I know what I can do with these picks in order to move and make more. Like he's got a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's what I really like about him is that he hasn't shown his cards of like what the fuck he's doing, like what his game plan is. He is just acquiring, and it's like you don't know what he's gonna do with it and how he sees this rebuild going. And I think we can officially now declare that the rebuild is officially begun. The sell-off has ended. Like all the major pieces that could go to make up for what Stan did. I mean, the last major thing is Seth Jones, but like you said, at this point, it's fine because we need to get to that cap floor.
Yeah.
So it's like now officially this team can start rebuilding and start retooling and adding the pieces to build the future. And hopefully in 5 years, hopefully sooner, but in 5 years, this is a competitive team. And we're looking back at like, oh, this was the moment that really changed this franchise by making this move to pick to get that player and so on and so forth.
Yeah. The clarity of like where we're going in order to get to where we want to be is nice to have. It sucks to go through. It's shit to see the like Instagram posts and like all the stuff of.
And like, I made the mistake.
I will remember you.
I don't know if you follow our Instagram page, but I think I put the most perfect little clip from Parks.
Of course, I follow our Instagram.
I'm talking
page.
In general, the listeners, man. Oh. The listeners. Jesus. But
what?
Yeah, the Chris Pratt from Parks and Rec, where I was like, this is all Chicago right now, where he's like, oh, I'm depressed, I'm not eating very much, not sleeping well, I have no like my hobbies don't interest me anymore, and it's like all that kind of stuff. It's so depressing that this happened. And then I made the fucking mistake of reading comments on posts talking about the trade, and fuck the hockey community online. You guys are fucking morons. You don't know what you're talking about. Calling like I knew the second this trade went through, we were gonna get mocked for the return. And god damn it, was I right. I fucking hate the online hockey community. You guys are assholes. No fucking way. That is amazing.
Arizona, the Coyotes put out an Instagram post with a Kane edited Arizona jersey, just saying thank you, Patrick Kane.
That is fucking amazing.
Oh god, gotta love it.
Oh god, I love that. Oh, Patrick Kane released a statement too.
Oh,
that was an hour ago. I'm so thankful for everything the city, the Blackhawks organization, my teammates, and the fans have done for me and my family over the last 16 years. The support was consistent from day one, and Chicago will forever be home for us. This has been an emotional time for me and my family, but I feel this decision puts me in the best spot to immediately win another Stanley Cup. This isn't about me leaving the Blackhawks, but this is about an opportunity for me. The Blackhawks did everything they could do to put me in a great position. I'll ever be grateful. It is bittersweet to leave a place that is so special to me, but I will always carry the memories we made in Chicago. I will miss the roar of the United Center, the deafening sound of the anthem, and the people of Chicago. Together, we made memories that will last a lifetime, like the 3 Stanley Cup championship banners that will forever hang in the United Center. I look forward to this next step in my career and will forever be appreciative for all that I've received from the Blackhawks and Chicago. Dude, he is not coming back.
Yeah, it sounds like he's not coming back.
He is not coming back.
Well,
the next time we see him in the United Center when he's not playing for another team is when 88's going up to the Raptors.
I don't know, man. If he's like on the final year, he might come back for like, I don't fucking know, man. I don't even care anymore. Hockey's stupid. Everything is dumb. All right. Enough about the Blackhawks, huh?
Basically, last thing about the Blackhawks. Don't be sad it's over. Be happy it happened.
Yeah, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I'm fucking bitter now. No, I'm not. I'm just emotionally fucked up. This is so weird. This is yeah. It's just
Dude,
weird, man.
I feel really weird. I feel even weirder now reading that statement.
Yeah.
I don't think he comes back. I think he signs cheap to stay in New York.
I mean, Brad Richards did it to them, to us. He got bought out and then came and won a cup here on $1 million contract, but he was still getting paid by the Rangers.
Yeah. All right, let's go. We've been kind of talking really long, so there's some. Let's do trades. We'll hold off on teams and players of the month just because there's still a shit ton of games going on today, so that could potentially alter decisions a little.
Nah, fuck that. Blackhawks, #1 team of the month for me.
Really?
No, but they're the biggest surprise. I mean, Colorado played great. Boston's still just.
I'm going Colorado for my team. Colorado 7-1-2 for 16 points, rolling right back up in the Central.
It's got to be the Rangers for me. Has nothing to do with their record and all has to do with the fucking trades they made.
So for the social post, you just not want me to put just picked up Patrick Kane and don't put
or
anything?
Yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko. And only gave up 1 first rounder for sure.
Real quick, I'm looking at the games then.
You know what's funny? In February, the Blackhawks tied the Tampa Bay Lightning in points. Unless the Lightning play today. Which they do. Yeah, Lightning play today. Oh yeah, and the Hawks play today.
I'm taking McDavid as my player of the month.
Yeah, man, he's pretty good.
9 goals, 14 assists, 23 points.
50 on the year.
First career 50-goal season, which is insanity to me.
God damn, dude. Patrick Kane, player of the month.
Okay, I'm doing it. Do you want him in the Rangers jersey or?
Yeah, man, fucking do it.
All right, let's go through some of the trades that happened so far. The rest of the league, I'm only talking about big ones here. I don't want to talk about these little bullshit ones.
Dmitry Orlov. That was actually a pretty decent trade. Going to Boston. The Capitals got a decent haul, man. Fucking a first, a second, and a third.
They've already flipped that first rounder.
Yeah. And so that first rounder is now Rasmus Sandin, but the first rounder was packaged with Eric Gustafsson to go to Toronto.
Which Toronto now has 9 defensemen on their team.
I'm assuming, is that including Jake Muzzin?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's weird.
Also Garnett, Hathaway went to Boston as well, part of that deal.
Yeah. He's having I'm pretty sure he's having like a decent season. I remember hearing more about him in the earlier part of the year. He's already got an assist in 2 games in Boston. He's more of just like a depth guy.
Yeah. That's the next move to me that seemed pretty decent was Winnipeg Jets picking up Nino Niederreiter for a 2024 second round pick. I mean, I think that's a really good pickup for Winnipeg. Add a little offensive power to their team.
Yeah, I mean, also not retaining any salary on that is pretty good. I thought Nino was going to have a much better year, but like I said at the beginning of the year, is Nashville had a ton of career seasons last year, and they really did not repeat like they thought they were going to. But yeah, he joins a Winnipeg team that's doing great in the Central right now.
Which one do you think is the next big one?
Of getting Dadonov is a good pickup for Dallas, especially since they actually gained cap space in this trade because Dadonov was 50% retained, so he's at 2.5, and Gurianov was 2.9. Was Gurianov just not having a good year? Yeah, he only had 9 points in 43 games.
That could be a huge pickup for Montreal though, if he could turn it around. But yeah, I wonder how many times Montreal checked his no trade list before
setting Dadonov off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gurianov's only 25 too, so he's got a lot left. He's got a lot left in the tank probably. And I mean that's a young team too that he'll probably get more minutes on.
And then the last move for like an Eastern Conference or Western Conference team made that kind of was a decent sized one was Vegas Golden Knight picking up Barashev from the St. Louis Blues. I mean, it's not going to make or break that team, I don't think, but it's a good addition, cheap player on a cheaper contract, add some extra depth, some extra power to that team. I feel like after that trade went through, then the East was.
I just don't know the appeal of Barbashev. So he's 27. He had a good season last year of 60 points in 81 games. This year he's got 29 points in 59, but he's never had this is his second highest scoring season, and he's 27.
All right, well let's.
Why was everybody so high on him?
I see that, and I will raise you a trade. I'm going to skip over one. We'll go back to it, but I raise you Tampa Bay picking up Tanner Jeannot for Kel Foot, a 2023 third rounder, a 2023 fourth rounder, a 2023 fifth rounder, 2024 second rounder, and a 2025 first rounder. What the fuck? The dude's had like 14 points this year.
Yeah. He also just hits like a fuck ton.
So essentially what I always believe, the Tampa Bay's GM just confirmed it. Draft picks mean nothing.
No, they don't.
Way too much emphasis on draft picks. And I know we just spent 45 minutes talking about what draft picks mean to the Blackhawks, but at the same time, I think when you're throwing around 5 fucking draft picks, including a decent defensive player.
I've heard that he's not really
decent. I said shit this year. Decent is enough. For a guy with 14 fucking points, like that right there, and also fuck you, dude, for making that trade and making the Hawks return for Kane look even worse. Oh, Jeannot can get this, but Patrick Kane can only get this. Fuck you guys. Fuck you. I guess I read the comments.
Jeannot's 25 RFA. I'm almost positive that he leads the league in hits. For preparing for a fucking beatdown fucking murder fest of the East, you're gonna want the guy that's got 200 and what is it? 200? No. Oh, 2022 season. Yeah, 213 hits right now. Like, he only has 14 points currently, but last year when everybody was really clicking, he had 24 goals and 17 assists playing like third, fourth line minutes.
And then I was just about to follow up too. Where have you heard this story before? Tampa Bay picks up a third, fourth line, depth player at the deadline, and he somehow turns it into a career season for the rest of the season and sends this team to the Stanley Cup final.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's the Nick Paul pickup of this
Nick
trade
Paul,
deadline.
Goudreau, Hagel, like it's
Yeah.
insane. It's insane how Tampa Bay does that every year.
What was the other one? Oh shit, Barclay Goudreau said. What's the other one? Fuck. There's one more. Is it the one he's in Calgary? Or Goudreau's in Goudreau's Goudreau's on the Rangers.
Yeah, he was in
Calgary. Oh, he's on the Rangers.
Yeah, but he was in Calgary last year, I think.
No. Calgary has somebody else that was literally the third or fourth liner. Oh shit, what is it? Fuck.
All right, while you're thinking about that, another trade.
Blake Coleman.
That's exactly what
That's the one. I just wanted to go back to the Vegas Golden Knights trade, just because I wanted to mention that Zach Dean is one of their first rounders that they've made. And I don't know if you saw this stat, but Vegas has made 6 first round picks since I think that's right, 6 first round picks since they've joined the NHL, and they've traded away 5 of them. Which, I mean, this is kind of like that Tampa Bay thing where you can either hope that guy turns out to be a decent NHL player, or you can just fucking get rid of it and be like, well, we're going to get an NHLer right now for this. Like, why wait until then? That's what Brisebois came out and said. He's like, I mean, we can hold on to those picks and hope those guys turn out to be NHLers, or we can just turn them into an NHLer currently.
Right.
It's like, fuck them picks, man. And I mean, if you look at like the draft, the Hawks really only get like 1 or 2 guys out of every draft year that like play an okay amount of games in the show. So is he right? I mean, I don't think he's crazy. He's like, I do not give a shit about these picks. We're winning currently. Let's fucking get somebody that helps us win currently. It's kind of what Pittsburgh was doing.
Exactly. I mean, if you can make it work, and they obviously do, they got their solid guys locked in. I mean, why do you need picks?
Fuck picks.
You need supporting cast. All right, real quick, we'll go through more of these. New Jersey Devils acquired Timo Meier, and a bunch of other shit from San Jose for 4 players, 3 draft picks, in a whole bunch of fucking conditions. So if the pick is a top 2 selection, New Jersey will instead transfer their own 2024 first round draft pick. That's for the condition on the first round pick.
Which is isn't that impossible? Yeah. That's this year.
Yeah. If New Jersey makes the 2023 Eastern Conference Final and Meier plays in 50% of the games, or New Jersey makes the 2024 Eastern Conference Final, the pick becomes New Jersey's 2024 first round pick. That's the condition on the second round pick for next year. Let's see.
There's an addition to that.
If the 2024 first is top 10, New Jersey will have the option, instead of transferring over their 2025 first, should New Jersey transfer their 2023 first to their 2024 first, as it is top 2 protected, and they make the conference finals in 2024, San Jose will receive their 2025 first. Just fucking trade them your 2025 first and just call it a day.
Nah, it's they're protecting basically both first rounders, but the thing is they're going to lose the first rounder this year, and then the only way they would end up having to give up their 2025 first rounder is the conditions basically have to be they make the conference finals this year and then absolutely blow shit next year and become a top 10 like pick, and then that way that gets transferred to 2025. It's just such a weird like minor condition that like is so impossible to happen, of them getting top 2 this year and then also making the conference final next year instead. Like that's a weird fucking situation to happen based on the fact that they're a top team this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, anything can happen next season, you know. But they ended up getting rid of Andreas Johnson, so just an NHLer, Fabian Zetterlund, who was like a former 3rd round pick, the Nikita Akhatiuk. Oh, that's a hard one for me too. I think he was like a former, he was like a second round pick. Yeah, in 2019, he's a second round pick from the Devils. And then the Shakir Makahamun Dulin, nailed it. He was their first round pick in 2020. Look at that name and tell me I didn't say that right.
Dude, you could have said a million different things and I would have thought you said it right. So
Makahamudulin. Madulin. Yeah.
All right, read the names that New Jersey acquired then too, besides Scott Harrington.
Timo Meyer. Zachary Amond, Santeri Hataka, and Timur Ibragimov.
Timur
Ibragimov. I don't know anything. I didn't really actually look into these guys, but one's a sixth rounder. One was a sixth rounder. It's probably like like 3 6th round pick guys. Yep, they're all 6th round picks. So it doesn't mean they can't make the show. They're just probably don't have a great chance. Yeah. And Sharks got, I think, a decent haul. Like I know a lot of people were like, oh, like those aren't the big names that they really were hoping for. Like I think Holtz was one. Zetterlund was kind of like, like if we get him, that's cool because he is playing this year. People wanted Dawson Mercer. I mean, they have some like big, like they had a big first rounder this year that was what, 2nd overall, the Simon Nemec, the defenseman.
Yeah.
So they didn't give up like their biggest prospects, but like I wouldn't say they got nothing. But yeah, man, there's like this trade and then the Tampa trade, and where you're just like, wow, that's a lot going back and forth. Yeah. And I feel like that happened for a good amount of trades where you're like, damn.
Yeah. So
how are you deciding to like move all of these things at once? This is now fair value. Here's 4 players and 2 picks.
I'm going forward to Sabres acquire Riley Stillman from Vancouver. Carolina Hurricanes picked Puljujärvi. Puljujärvi. AKA my helmet doesn't fit. Minnesota Wild pick up Marcus Johansson from the Capitals for a 3rd round pick. We already talked about this one. Toronto acquired Gustafsson and a 2023 1st round pick. Boston's from the Capitals for Rasmus Sandin. Then Toronto went on and moved Peter Engvall to the Islanders for 2024 3rd round pick. Then the Toronto Maple Leafs kept going. They picked up Lucas Shen from Vancouver for a 2023 3rd round pick.
I just love that you called him Peter Engvall. It's Pierre Engvall, and then you call him like Lucas or Luca Shen, and it's like Luke Shen.
Dude, I totally just was going really fast. I thought his name was Peter.
Yeah, no, yeah, you were on a roll of wrong names. I was like, yeah, keep going.
Edmonton Oilers made a big move to Matthias Ekholm. They picked him up, retaining 4%, with Nashville retaining 4% of his salary. Yeah. They also got a 2024 6th round pick for Tyson Barrie, Reed Schaefer, a 2023 1st round and a 2024 4th round. That's another one that I kind of was a little bit of a head scratcher for me.
Yeah, I'm surprised they moved on from Tyson Barrie, but I haven't been following what he's been up to this season. Like he went from being a decent player, I guess. I don't know. He's got 43 points in 61 games, but he's on -3. But I feel like Edmonton has a lot of minus players, even though they score a lot of goals. Matthias Ekholm is probably just like a nice upgrade, but a little bit more defensive. What does he got this year?
I think that's what they need, is more defense than anything.
Yeah, no, they're not good at keeping the puck out of the net. Also, he's got term left, doesn't he? Yeah, this is his first year of a 4-year deal. That's probably why they only retained 4% to make it $6 million even.
Makes sense.
Because Jesus. What does Tyson Barrie have much left on his deal? He's got another year after this too. Another year. So that's another guy that they can end up flipping for next season, for even more shit, because he's more offensive minded. So any kind of team that like Toronto wanted to get Gustafsson.
I don't understand that one,
put
but I think
Tyson
that
Barrie back in Toronto next year.
yeah. But yeah, I think so. The main takeaway from like the trade so far is Toronto, well done. I think they did a great job to improve their team so far. And I kind of mentioned in our group chat that I think the best comment I saw about their trading so far is Kyle Dubas did everything in his power to make this a winning team in the playoffs this year. At this point, it is on the players. And
Yeah.
And I think he is legitimately earned, and I think he's earned his contract extension with the moves he's made this at this deadline time, quote
I
unquote.
feel like over the last like 3 years, like each time it's been like, man, this has been like the best Toronto team that you can put together, and then somehow it gets better. And it's just like, okay, like this is the best Toronto team that you can put together. Yeah, like at what point do you just say like the players, like what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the only other option if they don't get past the first round this year is just blow it up. And I mean, and at the same time, it's like, why would you do it? Like you are a good team. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, blow it up. That's fine.
Blow it up. Yeah, send Matthews to Chicago and we'll have Bedard and Matthews play together.
Blow it up in a couple of years from now, and so that pick that's top 10 protected, you can keep it, and then we'll take the one that's top 10 that's not protected the following year, and hopefully it's like a top 2 or 3.
Yeah. So yeah, lots going. I don't even
I'm
know.
just I'm a little bit more upset that I wish that like they made that Rasmus Sandin move where they got Boston's first this year. I wish they would have made that before the McCabe and Lafferty trade and just given us that fucking pick.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet that pick's gonna end up being that's gotta be like 31 or 32 in the upcoming draft anyway. Like the team, I don't know actually because with the way that the East kind of loaded up, the Boston's probably not sitting so comfortably at this point.
Yeah, what's that stat? It's like Toronto, Tampa, New Jersey, New York all have a .640 win percentage or point percentage, and
Yeah,
two of those teams are not going to make it to the second round of the playoffs.
yeah,
But then I also was looking at the the standings. If you did a traditional 1 through 8, all those teams
yeah.
play each other anyways in the first
Yeah,
round.
it's kind of funny. Yeah, Jersey would play right as of right now. Jersey would play the New York Rangers, which would be a crazy awesome like matchup, and then Toronto would play Tampa Bay, which is also another great matchup.
So it's
And then
like
it would be Islanders and Carolina, and then Pittsburgh and Boston. But right now, it'll be Pitts. Yeah, it's exactly how it would be currently, anyway.
exact same setup.
Well, it's so weird.
Yeah. So it's like I know everybody bitching about the playoffs format and all that. Yeah, it does suck, but hey, ain't gonna change this year. I mean, nothing would matter. So, all right, I got nothing else. This is going on for a little bit longer than I think we anticipated, but with being trade time and all this, I don't think our post trade deadline episode is going to be as in depth because I literally think everything has happened already. I think we'll maybe get one or
Yeah,
two big moves on Friday, but that's about it. I think you're
yeah.
just
There's the only things that I've been seeing now is just like teams still in on Gavrikov.
kicker.
It's a like LA's on Gavrikov and possibly Corpusalo. Um, yeah, Chikrin. If it could be just another year of the Chikrin tease, where is he gonna go? Is he not gonna go?
No big goals
Um,
either. That's weird. I usually feel there's like at least one goalie moved by now.
yeah, like I mean, is Gibson gonna be moved or
I think
I like do you think like does Buffalo try and do something? Or are they just like, hey, this is a year that's a step in the right direction, and then next year, like utilize the cap space that we have,
does
make that maneuver.
I just noticed that we're about to wrap up here, but does Gibson still have term?
Yeah,
Why would you not? Why would you not take a run at a guy that has term that if you can make it fit when you're in your plan, why not?
yeah,
Buffalo,
I don't know.
fucking do something, man. I want you guys to be good. Let's go. And while you're at it, go back to the black jersey full time. Let's go. Do it. Do the right thing.
They're still paying Cody Hodgson. That's funny. Man, I don't know. Is Domi going to be moved? I think. Are there any other like Hawks maneuvers that are left?
No, I think unless, like I said, unless Dome gets an offer that's like, or Kyle Davidson gets an offer for Dome that just is like one of those NHL EA trades where it's like, oh, I'm gonna accept this before you change your mind type of move. I think he gets announced as an extension past a little past the deadline.
What I said with when we had Sarge on is I'm surprised that like McCabe got so much hype when Connor Murphy is like the exact same player.
I think it's like, term and just that extra year and that
extra 400,000. Yeah.
I think that it doesn't seem like a lot, but
he's probably he might be the Jake McCabe next year.
Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. But all right, episode 214, Tanner. What are we calling it?
You can call it the New York Kanegers.
New York Kanegers. New York.
God, fuck.
All right, so for Jarom and Tanner, 214, the New York Kanegers.
It hurts.
It hurts. I'm gonna do that too, and like in parentheses, it hurts.
The sadness, you can feel it. Overwhelming.
Make sure to follow us on social media at WCB Podcast. Follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Yeah, like I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's bumping. I think I'm gonna start focusing more on YouTube shit too. So let's go. Let's bump it. All right. So we will see you next week in the first episode of the new era of Blackhawks hockey.
I mean, this was the first episode of the new
Not
era
necessarily.
of Blackhawks.
It's still the wound. The wound is still fresh.
They're already losing.
I know. So I was happy. I smiled. But all right, we will see you on the next one.
All right. Love you, boys. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the WCB Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast. To connect with Jarom and Tanner, check out the boys at WCB Podcast on all social media. We'll see you next time.